This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, I chose the bear in Carta.
I'm glad that you chose the bear. I hear that that's a good series there on Hulu or whatever.
No, I think that's just called The Bear.
Yeah, I was, but you said you chose it, so I thought you meant that you chose to watch that or something.
Oh, no, yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I was talking about, sure. That was the reference I was making, yes.
That's what I figured, because it's very topical.
It's very, very much so. Oh, boy.
It has nothing to do with TikTok or anything, right?
No, nothing like that.
It's not like the whole Roman Empire thing that was popular a few months ago.
I chose the Roman bear. I don't know. Yes. Yeah, I guess.
My Roman Empire is the bear. The TV series.
Yes. Yeah, the TV series The Bear, about the guy who's like a chef or whatever.
Yeah, I think about it often, even though I haven't seen a single episode. But
I haven't seen it either. Actually, yeah,
I want to see it. I hear it's good.
There's so many shows out there. It's like
I know
you can't keep up with them.
Yeah. So today on the show, we are covering the pilot. It's like a movie, basically. It was 2 hours on TV time, an hour and a half on, actual watch time of the television series RoboCop, which came out in 1994. It's basically kind of a follow-up to the first movie. It ignores the second and third movies. So... and also has different characters. It has similar characters with different names for some reason, too. So, yeah, a lot of interesting things. The episode we're covering, the two-part episode that we're covering, is called The Future of Law Enforcement, which was directed by Paul Lynch, was written by Michael Miner and Edward Neumeier. This episode aired originally on March 14th of 1984 as a two-parter. Yeah, so, So 3.14. It aired on Pi Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the future of law enforcement, and starring in the show as Alex Murphy, aka RoboCop, is an actor named Richard Eden. Detective Lisa Madigan is played by Yvette Nepar. Sergeant Stanley Parks is played by Blue Mankuma. Gadget is played by Sarah Campbell. Diana Powers, a.k.a. Neuro-brain, is played by Andrea Roth. The OCP chairman is played by David Gardner. Then we have Dr. Cray Mallardo, played by Cliff DeYoung. And,
get it?
Yeah, and then we have Chip Chayken, played by John Rubenstein. And we also have... trying to see where we have James Kidney as William Ray Pudface Morgan, among other people in this show, including a character named Big Dog, played by Chris Kennedy, a.k.a. Christopher Kennedy. For some reason, he has two pages on IMDb under different names. But Chris Kennedy, he played Ted Theodore Logan in the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventures live-action TV series.
No way, the one that we reviewed?
Yes, yeah.
Like a long time ago?
Uh-huh.
Praise, oh my God.
I saw him in this, and I was like, "That's Christopher Kennedy." And then I looked up his IMDb, and it wasn't listed in there. And then I looked up the list of actors from this episode, and it has him listed as Chris Kennedy. For some odd reason, his IMDb profiles, there's like 2 of them, so I don't know why. But
so is he the one that played the Keanu's part, or the other guy's part?
Keanu's part. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Initial thoughts here.
I might be in the minority, but I actually kind of liked this episode.
Okay, good.
I thought kind of cool.
Okay, good, because I enjoyed it a lot.
I just thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was like, it was toned down the violence a little bit because it was like a family, trying to make like a family show. But
yeah,
I think that kind of helped it a little bit because I'm just not a huge fan of gratuitous violence.
Yeah.
So, and RoboCop has always been kind of like always kind of had like a soft spot in my heart for RoboCop. I mean, like, it's not something I would watch all the time or anything, but it's just like, I don't know, the character and like the silliness of the movie, because like it's highly satirical. I didn't really realize that when I was a kid, but later on watching it, I'm like, RoboCop's basically a satire of like, over policing and technology being used by like the police and stuff like that, to like be more brutal against the population or whatever. And you got the corporations, investing all the kinds of, it's very much a satirical like expression of pretty much what's going on now.
Yeah, I mean, you have big organizations that invest in the law and order in this country, basically, whether it be people buying up prisons and stuff, and having prisons run by private companies, and having influence into our police force through military means and weapons manufacturers and foreign interference from like Israel and stuff, so yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
things like
like the NYPD being trained by the IDF soldiers, and
right,
and then like I said, also you've got big weapons manufacturers that pay for that with our government, that ends up paying for the training of IDF soldiers that then go back and train our police to be like soldiers. So
right,
in turn,
it's totally normal.
In turn, all cops are bad. Anyway, so not all cops, but
I know. I know.
But yeah, but it is a decent satire. I mean, the original movie is really good. The second one's okay. The third one's kind of and
the third one's
they kind of missed the point on the third one, and it was they played him more like he was Rambo than he was like the satirical aspect of what they're trying to go for. And and then we have this series. There's also 2 animated series based on RoboCop, and then and then another live action like series of movies. There's 4 movies that lasted 6 hours in total if you want to watch all of them, and it's called RoboCop Prime Directives. It was made, I don't know, like maybe like 8 or 9 years after this show or something, and sometime in the early 2000s. And it was more like gritty and more mature, and took place like 10 years after the first movie, and basically ignored everything on this live action series and everything from the second and third movie as well. So there's like all these different timelines when it comes to RoboCop. It's almost as many as like Michael Myers like timeline and Halloween, you know what I mean? So it's like, because there's like 4 different timelines for Michael Myers in the Halloween movies or something. So
yeah, I know, that's really hard to keep up with.
Yeah. So, and then we also had, of course, the 2014 remake of the original movie, which you and I saw in theaters together. Which
I was thinking about that.
I actually enjoyed that, but it was like, I mean, I know why a lot of people didn't. So, but
to me, it's kind of like, it was all right.
I mean, it was nothing special, but I enjoyed it still. And it might just be because I went and saw it with you, my friend.
Yeah, I remember that. I was literally just thinking about that last night. Yeah. And then we went out, I think, to Big Boy afterwards, and there was like no one else there but like us and like a few other people.
Yeah, good times.
And then we sat alone in like this area. It just felt so weird. Like there's like no one else around, and it was like dark at one point, I think. And it's like,
it's okay. I had a
good time.
hot open faced turkey sandwich and and a hot fudge cake. Hot fudge cake.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep, there. Good times. And a nice Pepsi or Mountain Dew or something. That was good times, yeah. So what goes down in this pilot here?
Oh boy. So it's kind of hard to piece together the plot because it's very convoluted. But basically, there's this guy named Dr. Cray who's like basically like an Elon Musk motherfucker type character, and he's created this thing called a Neuro-brain.
I wouldn't give him that because I wouldn't give him that because I think this guy's a lot smarter than Elon Musk.
True, actually, yeah, because
Elon Musk has never really created anything himself.
Yeah, that's right. He just pays other people to do it, then he takes credit, puts his name on it. Yeah. So unlike Elon Musk, who has the neural link, this guy has a neural brain, and basically it's supposed to be super smart artificial intelligence. It's, if it works correctly, it will control every facet of society when it comes to water treatment plants, hospitals, the police. It will do a lot of menial labor and stuff. Everything will be time efficient. He made one point about, it won't need a coffee break every 3.25 hours or something like that. And but he's got like his own sort of like secret plan within that, because he wants to control everything. So he wants to sell this to the big corporation who buys shit. I forgot the name of the corporation, but
and it's,
he convinced.
And the main thing is there's also under that there's a thing that actually controls everything called MetroNet, not to be confused with my internet service provider.
No, it's not that one.
That's who my internet service provider is.
Yeah, and so he convinces them to give him some money, to work on this thing. They need like DNA from people to steal their brains or something like that in order to like hook that up to the neural brain thing or something. I don't know. Like they took this homeless guy's brain, they shot him up with like a paralyzing type of thing like they give patients when they're going through surgery. And that goes into like the B plots, because there's like 4 different subplots going on in this movie, all simultaneously.
Yeah.
Some of them are connected to each other, others are not at all connected to each other, just their own separate things completely. And so there's like this street gang called like the Dogs or Dogtown or something like that.
They live in Dogtown is where it's from. So
they live in Dogtown. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember
what
they were
they're
called.
Who cares? I think they're called the Dogs or something like that. And they live Dogtown, and they make like howling sounds or whatever. And they're basically a street gang of people who are like really hate homeless people for some reason. And they want to, quote, clean up the streets, even though they dress up like they might be homeless themselves. So I'm not really sure what that's about. But and so what they'll do is that the corporation, or one of the guys from the corporation who's like secretly in league with Dr. Crazy, to hire these street thugs to capture like a random homeless guy or whatever. And then they'll inject the drug into his neck to paralyze him. And then they take him back to the lab and steal his brain and stuff like that. But that guy doesn't work out because the brain was too traumatic or whatever. So he needs like a pure brain. So they end up killing the dude's secretary. But then like she becomes like sentient. I don't really understand it. And then it's really convoluted. So she becomes sentient and like knows what's going on. And so there's like this whole plot where then Dr. Crazy's trying to like put a computer virus to kill her, and she's trying to stay alive, even though simultaneously she's making the entire city run off of her brain, because now it's connected to this neural brain. It's been so convoluted, dude.
But you know what? This is woke propaganda telling us that only women can run cities.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Not
the black homeless men do it, so it's misandrist and racist at the same time. But with the racism, they might be okay with, because they, but not the misandry. Very much against that. Racism totally fine, for them. But anyway, so
I don't know if I've told you this before, but my kindergarten teacher, her name was Miss Andrew. She was a nice lady. No.
Was she mean to you though because you're a boy?
And then
oh my God.
Then there was my other teacher, Miss Inthrope, and then
Miss Anthrop. All right. And so plot C is there's this woman who runs a sham family services organization called Hug the Children, which is weird because you shouldn't be hugging child unless they want you to or whatever, but okay. And then but it's really just like
it should be called Hug the Children with their permission.
Yeah, there we go. And so like she does like commercials and stuff and does a lot of propaganda videos to make it look like it's this really nice place for kids to hang out before they get adopted, but it's really just like a crappy building, and they just had the kids watch TV all day together in one room, and it's all propaganda. They're watching these weird commercials like for credit cards and it's just all kinds of bizarre shit. And so her job is to sort of like send some of the kids to be indoctrinated into the street gang, the dogs, for some reason, which I don't recall why that was part of the plot, but for some reason it was. And so RoboCop's son is one of them because he ran away from home because he's like acting out now. Because again, this takes place in between RoboCop 1 and then part 2 and 3 are just ignored completely.
Yeah.
So this is like a different timeline altogether where RoboCop's son is now just like he's homeless and he's like trying to run away from home. And so he doesn't really accept their indoctrination. He tries to leave. They won't let him leave. But then Madigan, RoboCop's partner, is there. So she tries to tag some of them. She ends up tagging him to find out, if he was one of the people at this like sort of secret meeting outside or whatever.
That's one thing. I mean, we got to bring up is the fact that she plays it's Madigan, and then it was like Alan in the movies or something was the partner's name. So it's just interesting that they, for some reason, decided to change the name of the partner.
Yeah, is it the same actress though? Because I think it is.
No, not from the movies. No, nobody from the movies is in this.
Oh, okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah.
And so there's like a D plot as well that links into this. It's just this girl named Spider or some shit, I don't know, and she's always coming into the station. No, it's not Spider, it's Gadget. Right?
Spider.
I think it's this girl named Spider. No, it's Gadget, and she's always running away from family services because it's a shithole, and they just watch TV all day and watch propaganda, and they gotta film these bullshit commercials to make it look like it's this lofty, great place. And then one of the guys who works there is always getting frustrated with her and always takes her back to family services. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so this is like her, fifth or sixth or seventh time running away from a place. And you never thought to yourself, maybe there's something going on there that she doesn't want to be around. Maybe I should look into that instead of just sending her back, but
again, all cops are bad. Wait.
Yeah, I mean, apparently this is what the Detroit Police Department does in 1994 is they just send you back. But eventually he kind of believes her a little bit, so he does a little bit recon himself and finds out that it's pretty much a shithole that they've got these kids living in. So, but then Gadget, she ends up witnessing the first guy that they put the thing, to paralyze him in. And then so RoboCop believes her because it said like 99.9% truth detection or in her voice or something like that, and so the guy, who's kind of works at the station finally starts to soften up a little bit to her.
Yeah, and that's Stanley Parks, who is like the character's name. Yeah. So
yeah, he's like one of the people who mainly works on a desk. I think he's like a detective or something like that, or like he's
a sergeant. Yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't got to do all the real work. He just gets to hang out the station all day and do paperwork, which to me that actually would seem worse.
Well, he did end up getting out on the street later.
That's what I would say. I'd rather do that, but at the same time, I don't want to get shot at.
Yeah, but he gets out on the street a lot, I think, in the show. So yeah.
Oh, in the show, okay.
Yeah.
And so Gadget witnesses the crime. RoboCop believes her, but then Dr. Crazy and his associate who works within the corporation, they do something to wipe his memory clean or something like that for some reason, so that he can't remember anything at all about what was going on. But then again, this is all jumping around all over the place because this is such a convoluted plot.
Yeah.
So, and I took 0 notes.
Yeah, we don't have to get too detailed in this anyways, because I mean,
oh yeah,
I honestly think everybody should go watch this. So,
oh yeah, it's a good show. I mean, at least a good episode. I haven't seen any other ones, but it's a good episode. And so Miss Powers, you know, the one that's now pretty much the Neuro-brain, she somehow is able to float in. She's a ghost, or I guess what could approximate a ghost. What do you call an artificial intelligence that's also a ghost? I don't even know what you would call that, but like, and
that's my latest relationship.
It's your latest relationship.
Joking.
Ghost lady artificial intelligence,
yes,
or ghost,
yeah,
ghost AI, or I don't know.
I found her on this new dating app. It's
oh yeah, what's it called? It's called
it's called Ghost Lady AI, and
Ghost Lady AI. Yeah. So somehow she's able to like disintegrate like her particles, I guess you could call it, and then flow into RoboCop, and then she's able to find out where the computer virus is, I guess, and then she then restores his memory because they kind of got this thing going on where they're agreeing to help each other out because Dr. Crazy's trying to kill both of them, and both of them are AI to some degree, which is an interesting satire too, because this guy is all about having artificial intelligence control the world, but yet he's trying to kill off some of its greatest accomplishments, you know, RoboCop and then Miss Powers, you know, and
yeah. Oh yeah,
the
partner in the movies was Ann Lewis. I said Allen earlier, but she was played by Nancy Allen, so that's why I was thinking that. So yeah, I had to look it up because it was bothering me. So anyway, sorry.
No, you're all good. And so that's all I can kind of remember, like on the top of my head. Do you have anything that you remember differently? Because I'm kind of blanking on some of the.
Not really. I mean, it was basically just, you know, the whole, like, you know, these bad guys trying to take over the city basically and take over OCP, the big corporation that in this is run by a guy named the Chairman, where in the movies it was the Old Man. I don't know why they changed all the names of these characters. They should have just left them the same.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And then they even used a like footage in this from the first movie for him, like his flashbacks to when he was shot and stuff before he became RoboCop, because
that's right.
Because you had the actors, because you had like the guy that played Red on that 70s show and stuff in there, and
that's right.
You know, so Kurtwood Smith, so it's interesting, but I'm still trying to figure out why they changed the characters' names or just, you know, created these new characters and ignored the fact that these other characters existed.
Yeah, maybe they're just kind of just trying to do a clean slate, maybe, and just start from a new.
But I mean, it's kind of implied. It's kind of implied that Madigan was his partner before he got shot. So
right,
it's like, and that's what Lewis was in the movie. So it's like, okay, but yeah, I don't know. But I think we got most of the plot down already, don't we?
I mean, I think so. It's just because a lot of this. I mean, it's an hour and a half, but like there was a lot of like filler stuff going on, like to pad the time a little bit. I mean, it's still. Mm-hmm. The pacing was still good, I think, but like it was, you know, a lot of it was like dialogue between Dr. Crazy. Like, I think he was actually an interesting character, Dr. Crazy. I don't know. I thought. Well,
I really like Clifton Young as an actor. He's really good. So yeah. Same thing with the guy that played Chip Chayken. I mean, John Rubenstein. He's really good. I've seen him in a lot of things, and he always plays that smarmy kind of guy really well, or like a lawyer or something like that, or, you know, smarmy.
Goddamn lawyers.
Yeah. Because I think he had like a recurring role on like Seinfeld and stuff like that over the years. So yeah.
Speaking of AI, now they're going to start having AI lawyers or AI paralegals, I've heard.
Really?
And I mean, like, not right away, but probably within like the next few years. Oh, that reminded me too. It's off subject a little bit, but now the Catholic Church even tried to have an AI priest. But get this, it started saying things that were like against like the catechism, so they defrocked him, the AI priest, and so now he can't legally call himself a priest. Instead, he's got to say, I'm a devout Catholic who spent many years studying the theology of Catholicism. Like, he can't even say he's a priest. So.
Was this officially sanctioned by the Catholic Church?
I think it's I don't know if it's from the I don't know. I don't think I'll look into it again, but I saw a whole video. Someone was talking about it and they were showing clips of it and stuff like that. Yeah, his name was like Justin, I think. He's not a priest anymore. He got defrocked, but the AI priest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing headlines here, but that's just like, that just does not seem like anything that a real church would approve, because they kind of believe in the idea of a human soul, and
right,
yeah, and the whole concept of AI is that it doesn't have a soul.
Right,
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I could be mistaken, but I thought that was funny. But so there is like a D plot, or an E plot rather. Not really that important because it just kind of ties in with the normal plot of Dr. Crazy trying to kill RoboCop. End up freeing this Pudface guy from jail or something to try to have him kill RoboCop again.
Yeah.
And they end up like shooting like this really big gun. It doesn't really matter because it doesn't die in the end. And
because they purposely do not kill any of the villains in this episode because they want to bring them back in future episodes.
I see.
If from what I've read and what I remember when the show was originally on, because I used to watch it used to be on like I think this was on like like one of those like Saturday afternoon type of shows that was in syndication or whatever, and be on after Baywatch or whatever, so it would they kind of, Pudface was kind of like the Joker to RoboCop's Batman, throughout it. So
I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wonder, is he supposed to be an analog of the character? I mean, it couldn't be him because you remember in the first RoboCop movie when the guy falls in the toxic waste thing, his skin's like falling off and shit like that. Is this supposed to be the same guy? Because he said the same thing. He got arrested. There was a toxic waste accident or something. Okay, I
think it's just just like a replacement character, but just like the partner and the chairman of the board guy and all these things. Just calling him something slightly different. I don't know if there was some like legal reasons that they had to do that or what, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder, it could just be that, or they just wanted to start over because they wanted to make the show its own entity and make it more of a family friendly type of. There's no cussing. The violence is very
but minimal, I mean, and none of this though. I mean, requires changing the characters' names. I just don't.
Yeah, it's just who knows what what their dealio was.
Yes.
But I think that's pretty much it. I mean, they eventually, they arrest the bad guys. Dr. Crazy's
and Jimmy
ends up getting
Jimmy Murphy gets back with his mom. With Alex's wife.
RoboCop doesn't tell them who he is because he doesn't want them to know.
Yeah, and which is kind of different than like in the sequels to the movies. He finally came out and everybody knew that he was, and when they would work in this, everybody refers to him as like Robo or RoboCop.
Right.
In the movies, they always refer to him as Murphy. So
so they all know it's him. Yeah. At least in the police department or that part of the police. And I kind of forgot because it's been a while since I watched the first movie. What was the whole point of? I mean, he got killed, but why did they choose him to be like this? Like, was he that good of a cop that he just thought he couldn't die, that need to bring him back, or was it like I forgot the whole?
I watched RoboCop a few years ago the last time, and I still don't remember because I think I was just watching it kind of in the background. But
I see.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember why what happened with Murphy and why he I could look it up. Basically, let's see here. So Alex Murphy, and this is from the movie description, is transferred to the Metro West precinct. Murphy and his new partner, Ann Lewis, pursued notorious criminal Clarence Broderick and his gang, blah, blah, blah. The gang ambushes and tortures Murphy until he's fatally shot. Morton has Murphy's corpse converted into RoboCop, a heavily armored cyborg with no memory of his former life. I don't even know why.
So there might not even be a reason other than
it says like because Morton is an ambitious OCP junior executive responsible for the RoboCop project. It was probably just like an idea that they had, and they for the cyborg for the robot to work, they needed a human body in it or something,
Right.
or
so they're like, oh, this
brain.
guy's dead, or sort of.
Yeah, and he was a cop, so we'll use him because he's probably a good candidate for it because he's it's not like because he was a cop, so he has like natural cop abilities. Probably it's it's not like you're gonna just take a hot dog salesman off the street and turn him into the new
Sure.
That's a completely different movie. That's a spin-off. It's called Robo Hot Dog Guy.
Yes, that's a Robo Dog Guy.
Yeah, Robo Dog.
Speaking of which, I had the weirdest dream last night. So, and I think it was like somewhat prophetic. So, I mean, it was like stupidly prophetic because there was like what was prophesized was just meaningless and dumb. But anyway, so I had this dream that I bought like a corn dog, like from like a restaurant or a fair or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just holding it as I was walking down like a road in Michigan somewhere, like just like not like a dirt road, but just kind of like a country road or whatever.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I just wasn't eating it yet. Like I wanted to like wait until I got home to eat it, I guess. But it was like getting cold. I was kind of getting pissed off later. And then like for some reason, eventually it just became a cheese dog. Like it was just like covered in cheese essentially. And I wanted to eat that, and I was getting pissed off that I couldn't eat it right away. And then I end up meeting this guy down the road who's walking his dog. I guess for some reason dogs was on my mind. I don't know. And then I was like, oh, that's a really pretty dog or whatever. And he's like, oh, thank you. You can pet him if you want to. I was like, well, I don't really know because I got this hot dog here and I don't know if he'll like want to like grab it. He's like, oh no, he's good. He's really trained about not like trying to go for food or whatever. So I go pet him and stuff. Like it's a nice dog or whatever. And he's like, hey, I'm actually going to like a kind of like a get together or whatever. You could join us if you want. So I go there or whatever. They're eating, a bunch of cookout food or whatever. And I find out that they're all hardcore Trump supporters. And then I'm like, oh shoot, but they were like really nice people. So I felt like guilty. I was like, well, I like these people, but so I'm like, I gotta get going. And then like one of the women comes up later on, it's like, you don't gotta go, it's like, no, it's okay. I gotta get going or whatever. And then I find out later on that we were having a cookout today with my brother and Tiffany, his wife. I shouldn't say their names, but whatever.
Yeah.
My brother and his wife were coming over, and so I must have been like maybe overhearing people talking about this in my subconscious or whatever. But one of the things that they brought over was cheese hot dogs. I was like, whoa, bro. And I don't think they even talked about that. So I had a prophetic dream that was useless in any sense of the word, but it was kind of fun, I guess. And I have no idea how this relates to anything in the show.
I think that the meaning of the dream is that one day you will turn into a guy wearing a hot dog suit on the corner of a street yelling hamburger.
Yeah, the diner trying to get in, drum up new business. Cheeseburger, hamburger.
Yes. The greatest thing ever happened.
Say something about the identity crisis of the guy dressed as a hot dog yelling cheese.
Yes. Years ago, folks, we were stuck at a light and there was a guy dressed up like a hot dog, came kind of near the van we were in and is yelling, cheeseburger, hamburger. Yep.
French fries, I think he said.
Yeah.
Coke. Yeah, I think
because I don't.
Coke.
But he never once said hot dog.
Nope, not once. He was dressed as a hot dog, and it's probably because they didn't have a hamburger costume, and then they were like, all right, just dress up as a hot dog. It was called the Trilby Diner. It's no longer there, unfortunately.
Yes.
Had really great food, actually, but I guess no one went to it anymore for some reason. And
the land got bought out. That's why. But anyways, so that's just the history of the world.
Yep. History of our little neck of the woods here in Toledo, Ohio. Lots of weird shit happens in Toledo. It's fun.
Yes, it is.
And I think about it, other than like a few jokes that were made, but I can't remember right now.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I looked up some reviews on the Internet Movie Database, and so there's like this is for the first part because it's a two-parter. This guy gave it a 4 out of 10 review. Named Prismark 10 He did this back on the 25th of May of 2023. So last year, he said RoboCop leapt from the big screen where it was hyper-violent satirical action movie to the small screen as a more cartoonish show. Shot in Canada, which stands in for decaying Detroit, it also looks a tad cheap. The first episode has RoboCop investigating blah, 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 blah. It's telling the plot.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, it says the first part of the 2-part story, you can sense this is more aimed for families, so the humor is broad, the violence toned down. So he only gave it a 4-star. And then we got a 1-star review from MIESCHKAEDEN, and this is from May 5th of 2022, so a couple years ago. It says, if you like Power Rangers, feel free to watch it, but otherwise, if you value any standards, do not watch it. Flat dad jokes, lame 90s one-liners, and Power Rangers level special effects. Holy cow, I threw the DVD away because I'll not get my 86 minutes of life back. It is not even so bad it's good category. A disservice to the original movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't agree. But, yeah. So I mean, interesting trivia fact is that this script that they used was actually inspired by the original first draft for RoboCop 2, which was written by Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner. So who the studios decided not to go with the script, so they went with what they went with. They ended up going with a script written by Frank Miller, the comic book writer. That's who wrote RoboCop 2. But yeah. Neumeier and Miner wrote the original RoboCop. So this was written by the same people that wrote the original. So
okay.
So yeah. So that's all we really have here today about this, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So folks, your prime directive today is to go to all2reeltoo.com and check out all of our episodes there. Subscribe to the show wherever you're listening. Give us a 5-star review if you can. Also, check out our TeePublic and our Patreon. Those are good ways to help support the show. Also, just spread the word wherever you can on social media, on Facebook and TikTok and whatever the kids are into these days. Just tell them to listen to this. I mean, go randomly down the street and grab somebody by the shoulders and be like, listen to All2ReelToo. Your life depends on it. Oh, wait.
No.
Oh, okay.
Do not grab someone's shoulders without their consent or not.
Don't assault people. Please don't. I was just joking.
And don't hug the children unless you know them or your family or whatever.
But if you do hug any children that you do know, tell them to listen to All2ReelToo.
Yeah, no, they should not be listening to.
Oh, I'm a bad influence. Anyway, so, but until next time, folks, just remember that I love you. RoboCop loves you. Sesame says to me that he loves you. See what I did there? And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.